Let us begin today's class on Panchama Veda. Tabu kathamritam tapta jivanam kavibhiriditam kalmashapaham sravanamangalam srimadatam bhuvi grinanti e bhurida janaha. In this chapter, we are listening the reply of the Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ma, the Master Mahashaya, he is asking and Sri Ramakrishna is replying. Sri Ma has given the name of this chapter as Advice to Householders. This is a different questions that usually it comes in the minds of the people who are living in this world, but at the same time having the desire to realize God. They want to know whether they can realize God while they are performing their duties in this world, maintaining their families, earning money, and all other responsibilities. He is asking, Sri Ma, Master Mahashaya, the writer of the Gospel, he is asking this question. And Sri Ramakrishna is giving the answer. We were listening to that answer in the last classes we have discussed. And now when he is asking, is it possible to see God with this eye, physical eye that we are having? God cannot be seen with these physical eyes, Sri Ramakrishna replied. Now that you cannot. Then how can we see God? You are telling that it is possible to realize God, see God, you can talk to God. And then how I can? Then Sri Ramakrishna is telling, when you are in course of spiritual discipline, when you are going on, calling on God, repeating His name, concentrating, praying to God, then the whole thing changes. This physical body, within this physical body, a change comes, and that's called, Sri Ramakrishna is telling, love body, love eyes. That means Dibba Sharira and Dibba Chakshu. It's almost like same, but actually from inside it changed. In the Bhagavad Gita also we find the same thing. The Bhagavan Sri Krishna is telling. Evam etat yathatvatvam atmanam parameshwara. Arjuna, he is telling, I have accepted that you are the Supreme God. And I believe it, I accept it. Now, will you please be kind enough to show me that you are that Supreme God? Drashtumichhami te rupam oishwaram purushottama. Purusha Uttama, O the Supreme Self, can you please show me that divine nature of yours, divine Rupa, not nature, Rupa. Can you please show me? The Supreme Being, Purushottama, Tvam, thou, Atmanam, thyself, Yatha. In that way, Atva, described. In the previous slokas, he has already described. Evam, that way, Etad, it is, te, thy, Vaishyaram, as the God of all, Rupam, form, Drashtumichhami. Now he is praying. And what was the reply to this question? Sri Krishna is telling, Natumang shakya se drashtum anenaiva swachakshusha. See the same thing. Krishna is ready to show his divine form to Arjuna, but he is giving a blessing Arjuna with divine eyes, divine sight. Natu mam shakyase. You cannot have an experience of me merely with your physical eye. That you cannot, you won't be. Drashtum anenaiva sachakshusha, and then divyam dadami te chakshu pashyame yogam aishwaram. If you have to see that divine activities, aishwaram, daivam, then you have to have that. And this moment, Sri Krishna, as because he is so much affectionate to Arjuna, he is blessing Arjuna with this eye. Not that Arjuna was not having the spiritual discipline. He controlled his sleep. That means all the other senses too. And that is the reason he was already a yogi. Not that he has not practiced and just Sri Krishna is giving him these blessings. No, he has already practiced. He was ready and he could understand that divine Rupa of Sri Krishna. And behold with that my power as the Lord of all, Sri Krishna is telling. Sri Ramakrishna, one who thinks of God day and night, beholds him everywhere. So the personal God, Dvaita, duality, takes us to Advaita. So this how simply he is describing it, telling it, and solving, and so many years of difficulties. The people were constantly, the Panditas, all the learned people, they are reading the scripture and arguing that people practicing duality cannot practice monism, cannot have the experience of monism. From Dvaita, one cannot reach Advaita. From the two, one cannot have the one idea. Dvaita means two, me and my God. And Advaita, there is no two, only one, that is me. And Sri Ramakrishna is telling that if you are thinking God all the time, constantly, then you see God everywhere. What is this? I see God everywhere, within me, outside me, and same thing, I am also having the same experience. In the Tantra, I have a mind to give a retreat for 5, 6 days, 7 days. In the long weekend, we may organize to teach our devotees who are very sincere and would like to learn puja, very simple puja. But you will see that in that puja, when the devotee is sitting in the puja and then slowly, he is making himself, the pujari, as divine. And divinity means that God or the deity that the devotee is going to worship, he is thinking, I am that deity. This is wonderful. And then ultimately they will say, put the flower over on your head, and then you are slowly taking out from the Kula Kundalini that power, it travels through the Shushumna, merges with the Sahasrara, and you see the same God, same divinity is within you. And they will be asking you to constantly doing right from the tip of the fingers to every part of your body, slowly becoming divine, divine, divine. And then only Devam Bhutva Devam Yajet. After becoming God, then only you can worship God. Otherwise, how can you? The Sushumna, but Rabindranath, even a person like Rabindranath, when they are putting that flower on the head, then they are thinking that God within, then he is taking that flower and putting before his nose and breathing out, thinking that God is coming and sitting on that flower, and then putting on the some as we are having the plate, over that is the water is there, you have to place that, or sometimes there will be pitcher, then you have to put that like. Or if there is a statue, you will see they will take it and put it on the head of the statue. They will put on the head of the statue, not at the leg. They are giving the prana. I know this is made of stone or a wood or something, but I am giving my thought, my prana, my God in that form, and it is putting over there. Rabindranath, in the beginning of course, he was a Brahma, and this was the main point that the Brahmas, they objected, the idolatry, worshipping the idols, the murtis. How the God, when you are making the doll, and with the mud, with the wood, with this and that, maybe the stone, how can God come into it? How can God manifest into it? And moreover, look at it, these people, they are putting the conscience to the who is the whole consciousness. They are giving this consciousness, the prana pratishta, the conscience, to that who is actually the repository, the whole thing of consciousness. The Rabindranath wrote, Jara tomare day pran, I have forgotten the exact line, Jara tomare day pran, those who are giving you life. Can you think of it? The God who is the source of all consciousness, and now this one, he is giving consciousness, that God. How audacity! So Rabindranath wrote, Jara tomare dehe pran, tader ki ache pran, are they living? Do they have that sense? So he was joking, then afterwards he understood the folly. Sri Ramakrishna Dev, as a contemporary, Sri Ramakrishna was there, he has visited their home and talked with his father, Rabindranath's father. His brothers also came. And that contemporary, but Sri Ramakrishna is constantly telling, he said this topic, God and his divine power, the Shakti. Shakti alone is the root of the universe, Sri Ramakrishna is telling. Shakti alone is the root of the universe. The primal energy has two aspects, Vidya and Avidya. Vidya means that knowledge by which we can understand that one has become many. We don't see many, we see one. Those who are trying to realize God, praying to God, worshipping God, they can understand that God is only one. But the same God has manifested in so many different forms. Nama, Rupa, different names, different forms, but all are God. Avidya conjures up the lust and greed. But when we make the mistake, when we think that these are the main thing, and the one person who is a magician, he is showing so much of magic, and we are actually accepting only his magic, the things that he is showing, not the magician. This is the problem. And sometimes, the majority of the time, most of the time, people have that weakness, that they will accept the person, not the principle. The principle is most important. The magician who is showing the magic, he is having some technique. That is his principles, that is his ideas, that is his knowledge. If you know that, you can also perform that, you can also do that. But when we are attached to that magician, many times, many people, they are deluded by that. And they think that is the real. The Bhagavan also, the God also, the Brahman also creating this universe with so many varieties. And he has given us the desire too. And the mind full with desire. And he is all the time, it is a game, it is a play for him. And there are some games that you have to go and touch the center. And there will be two teams. One will be guarding. There will be round these lanes. So they will be guarding, people will be there, players will be there. You have to dodge, you have to somehow go and reach the center. Here the baseball, this play, almost similar. You have to take the ball, you have to reach to that corner, and all they will come and jump on you, pounce on you, and you have to somehow dodge. You have to go and reach. Those who can go, they are winner. Similarly, God has also given so many things, the name, fame, so many other things. Rupa, Rasha, Shabda, Sparsha, Gandha, these 5 things all the time dragging us. Some people are praising the beautiful, sweet words that constantly ring in the ear, and we are dragged to that. We like to listen to that, and we don't judge whether they are really telling the truth or not. So that is the personality we have to develop. That is the main thing. So God has given this, and then He is also asking us, teaching us, don't go there. But we don't understand. So here Sri Ramakrishna is telling the Brahma and Shakti. This is very important. The moment we understand this, who is creating problem? God. Who can solve the problem? God. So that we have to understand. Where from all the problems are coming? From the power of God, the Shakti. This lust and greed, the avidya, it casts spell. Vidya begets devotion, kindness, wisdom, love, which leads one to God. The vidya and avidya. This is a 2 very important words in Sanskrit in our spiritual life. One is vidya, another is avidya. Avidya is so easy to get, and always it is attractive, and vidya is not attractive. But you have to be careful, and you have to keep in mind the ultimate, the success is following the vidya, not avidya. Again and again God is telling this, and then He is taking the human form, mixing with us, coming to us, and also guiding us in this fashion. The devotee assumes various attitudes towards Shakti in order to propitiate her. The Sri Ramakrishna is telling. This Brahma and Shakti, are they two? No. We will come to this Sri Ramakrishna. He is telling, he is giving us. There is thousands of years, the Pandits, the learned people, they are arguing that Brahman is different and Shakti is different. Those who are following the path of Brahman, Jnanamargi, they never think about the Shakti, the path of Tantra. But the Tantra and the Jnana, the Vedanta, almost at the same time. We find the names of Uma, Hoimavati in the Upanishad. Sri Krishna himself worshipped Shakti. Ramachandra, when he was going to fight with the Ravana, then the Narada advised him that you have to worship Durga, Shakti. Then only Rama himself is the Vishnu avatar. Why then he has to sit for worship of Durga? Because again, his own power, but he is awakening that power. And that power of God, which is called Shakti, they are not, you cannot differentiate. Say, creation and destruction are all the activity of the Shakti. Brahma and Shakti are inseparable. These are the unique teachings of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, which has solved the thousands years of debates. Most of us, we do not know. Nowadays, in the modern days, and those who are not acquainted with the world of the scripture, they do not understand. Hundreds of times the people are writing and fighting that they are all separate. You cannot make it one. And there will be tremendous fight between these two. One will never look at other. And the avatara of unification, Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, he is taking each and every one and giving them the right knowledge. That's why the Kathamrita, the gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, the Vachanamrita, is the Veda. If you understand Sri Ramakrishna, you understand all the scriptures. And that's why many of our Swamis, in the beginning they will be studying the Veda, Upanishad, and all the treatises, commentaries. Very famous one. But ultimately he told, best is Kathamrit. You get all the answers over there. And very simple way. What we need only to understand. We are not going to be the professor. We are not going to write all these things, but only we want to clear our doubt about this. So the gospel is the best. To know what is religion, it doesn't matter what religion, what path we are following. Christianity, Islam, Judaism, Buddhism, Hinduism. We have to know the basic of religion. And the basic is this: there is one power, and that is the power of God. That God is called Brahman, he is inactive. But the same power, same God, same Brahman, when active, called Shakti. And this activity, the power of God and the God, the Brahman, inseparable. And Sri Ramakrishna gives the example, fire and its burning capacity. If you separate the burning capacity of the fire, you cannot get the fire. And when you accept the fire, you have to accept its burning capacity too. The sun and its rays. And sometimes there will be sun without rays. It's covered with dust or shadow, the black clouds. Sun is there, but it is of no use. The sun means that rays, the glittering, bright. So that is the sun. We cannot separate it. As long as eye sense is there, Sri Ramakrishna is telling in other places, as long as eye sense is there, aham, when this consciousness is there, you cannot see or understand Brahman as nirguna. Again, another terminology is coming. Saguna, nirguna. Saguna means attribute with sattva, raja, tama. All this we see, a good person, a bad person, in between, all right. So all these things, why? Because sattva, raja, tama. The moment the sattva is more, is a very good person. Tama is more, is a very bad person. What is the difference? Difference between only these. That this is a very special condition of the mind, and we have to understand that the God, when creating, preserving, destroying, it is taking the attribute as God's Shakti. And this Shakti, again and again, Sri Ramakrishna is trying to make us understand. Unless and until you accept this Shakti of God and then go through these, you cannot and never can reach the God or the Brahman without attributes, without the gunas. That through the Saguna Brahma, the Brahman, the God with the attributes, we have to reach Nirguna Brahma. And that is the reason the Hindu always they accept this puja, these rituals, these celebrations, this fasting, and this going to the pilgrimage, giving the donation to the people, helping people, service to the people. Through all these, slowly, suddenly you will find whom I am helping. To myself only. I am helping myself. And then you will see everywhere is nothing but that God, the Brahman and Shakti. Now the Bhagavan is telling about this. We have to understand this Shakti. Unless you understand this, you won't get the real knowledge. Now the next October 16, 1882, it was Monday, a few days before the Durga Puja, the festival of the Divine Mother, and all the assembled. Sri Ramakrishna was in very happy state of mind. Because before the Durga Puja, that Shakti again, the manifestation, the nature is so beautiful, and at the same time, you get one, whether you want it or not, encouragement, joy. Because all around, all people, knowingly, unknowingly, they are influenced by that nature. Because the divine Shakti is coming as a mother. That's why so much importance is given on these days, particularly Navaratri and the Durga Puja. In different parts of India, in different names they call it, but it is the same thing, the Shakti manifesting. Sri Ramachandra, he worshipped Durga, and then Ravana also worshipped Durga. Krishna worshipped Shakti, and that Shakti, the power of God, when coming as a mother. So naturally, this is the wonderful time, excellent time. The aspirants, the devotees who wants to realize God must utilize these moments. Now Sri Ramakrishna was very happy, and for Naren was with him. That was another thing. Because Naren was with him, Sri Ramakrishna was slowly teaching Narendra. Narendra has already got, Sri Ramakrishna was waiting that he should get the Western way of knowledge, the modern knowledge, the science and philosophy, and all these things in the way in the Western world they teach. Because in our country, in the ancient time, they used to teach Sanskrit. That was a toll. That way of teaching and the subject was all many different. But the modern science that went to India through the Europeans, and that was very fascinating. People could get lot of information, knowledge. Sri Ramakrishna waited that let the Naren, the young boy, acquire that, and he was in the university. He was getting that knowledge. Now when he has come, he understood this is time that this mind, Naren's mind, should also receive the eternal knowledge. So when the Naren used to be with him, he used to be very happy. Naren had brought 2 or 3 young members of the Brahma Samaj. Naren was in Brahma Samaj, and that was almost the system of the young people in those days, educated people, because they could not understand why the God should be worshipped in the idols. And that is the reason many of them, they were accepting Christianity, and a group of people under the leadership of Keshav Sen, Raja Ram Mohan Rai, they were trying to protect this group of people to be converted into Christianity, and then they said, okay, we will practice the Hinduism, the pure Hinduism, only through the Veda, without the worship of the images. And here we find Naren and his friends, they have come over here in a temple garden. Besides, Rakhal, Ramlal, Hazra and Aim were with the master. Rakhal means afterwards Swami Brahmananda ji. Then about the Ramlal and the Hazra, they are all very interesting characters. And if you read the life of Sri Ramakrishna, you will always come across these people. They came and they played their role and so perfectly, so we can understand what we should learn and what we should not. The Hazra Mahashaya, about him, there are so many stories are there, references are there in the life of Sri Ramakrishna. Narendra had his midday meal with Sri Ramakrishna. Afterwards, temporary bed was made on the floor of the master's room so that the disciples might rest a while. In the temple garden, if you go today, there are many rooms for the guest. But that is in an Indian way, very ordinary, the floors are there so that you can go and take rest, etc. But here, Sri Ramakrishna wanted that the disciples should be near him. So he spreaded the bed near to that, inside his own room, and they were taking rest. Master was very happy, Sri Ramakrishna was very happy. And he got down on the floor and sat near the Naren, and he was talking. After I had experienced Samadhi, my mind curved intensely to hear only about God. He is giving the hint. And he is giving the reference about himself, that when I had experienced the Samadhi, then only one thing one should talk about, and that is God, and nothing else. He is inspiring his young disciples. If you like to realize God, you have to concentrate your mind, you have to think about God, you have to talk about God, you have to read about God, you have to dream about God, you have to, every moment you have to be with God. Then and then only there is a possibility to realize God. It's not you will be doing many other things and at the same time a little bit of thinking about God. No, that won't help. I would always search for places where they were reciting or explaining the sacred books. Wherever there will be the Bhagavatam, the Mahabharata, Adhyatma Ramayana, I used to go to those places. See, the mind, when one likes to listen to the words of God, when some people are reading or reciting or discussing about the Holy Scripture, we go and listen and we enjoy. It is the sign that our mind is becoming pure. It is the sign that there is a possibility, if we continue and continue slowly intensify this desire, then we may also realize God. He is not differentiating anything. He is not telling that you have to do this, you have to do that, or eating this, eating that, go over there, don't go over there, nothing. Condition of the mind. This is also a very important point that we should notice in the life of Sri Ramakrishna. He is instructing us and he is telling how to realize God, and in that he is not asking us to do anything. Just be as normal as you are, but at the same time, only one thing, give your whole mind to God. And slowly you are changing. Need not to bother about the food or the place or the dress or the language. So this is, he is telling, after I had experienced Samadhi, the highest experience, my mind intensely curved to hear only about God. What tremendous faith Krishna Kishore had. Then he is talking about the faith. Krishna Kishore, he was a person very devoted to God. He was a learned person also. He used to study different scriptures. And that Krishna Kishore, he went to Vrindavan and he felt thirsty. And in those days, Brahmanas will never accept water from the hands of the non-Brahmins. And Krishna Kishore felt thirsty and he saw a low caste, so-called, we must say, so-called low caste person. Because the people who are working the menial job, the humble job that they are doing, I don't know when and how and who labeled them as the lowest in the rank of the society, and people should not touch them, people should not mix with them, people should not take food from them, all these things. Sri Ramakrishna is breaking this idea. He is telling it has nothing to do with this. I think in the coming the Sunday, no, 8, that we are going to observe the Ram Navami, but not puja, but discourses, discussions, and some of the chantings on Rama. We will discuss the contribution of Rama. There too much of worship, we spend our time on that, do not understand the contribution and the philosophy of this great soul. So that is why Swami Vivekananda again and again said, do not make these ashramas as Thakur Badi. Thakur Badi means there will be constantly, there will be puja, every moment there will be puja, unless and until there is some function. So there people who are engaged in that, they think where from the money will come, and they are not getting the importance too. So they will go on increasing paraphernalia and all these things. 24 hours there will be. So Swamiji is telling after that what? You are not learning anything. And we see the bad effect of all this. Lord Buddha also protested against this. We are not practicing anything because we do not know. What the Ramachandra is teaching, we do not know. Here, Sri Ramakrishna is teaching through this story. There is a fact, of course. The Krishna Kishore, he was having a tremendous faith, and if you have the faith that moment one recite the name of God, he becomes pure. That is the faith. Ekbar Ram Name Joto Pap Hare. There is a couplet. If you are uttering once only the Ram Nam, and so much of sin that you have done is all clear. And you cannot collect or do so much of sin, which once only with devotion if you utter Ram Nam. Ekbar Ram Name Yat Pap Hare. Jiver Shaddho ki Tato Pap Kare. The jiva has no capacity to make so much of sin. That is the power of Rama. That is why one Brahmin boy, his father was a Pandit and he was the Guru. But he was somewhere outside. A group of people came, they wanted to learn something, have the Diksha. So his son said, because he has seen that the father is telling, he said, you take the name of Rama 3 times and that will be all right. Those people left. Then afterwards when the father came back, the son reported, a group of people came, and as you always say, I also told them, go and repeat the name of Rama 3 times, I told. The father slapped. This you have learned from me? So many days you are here with me, you have grown up over here, still you don't have the faith that once only if person is taking the name of Ram, that is sufficient. Why 3 times? So these are the stories to impress that the power of God. But only name? No. Along with the name, you have to understand the qualities of God too. Then only those qualities will come within you. On that particular day of Ram Navami, we will discuss the qualities of Rama. Then this Krishna Kishore, who was thirsty, he saw that man and he wanted to drink, but the person said, sir, I am a Bhangi, I am just a very humble caste. You are a Brahmin, you are not supposed to take water from my hand. Then Krishna Kishore said, take the name of Shiva and give me water. So much faith. Sri Ramakrishna is telling this to impress these young disciples, young people. If you have the faith in the name of God, you can have everything. Then Halodhari replied, what is the use of seeing a mere human body? Sri Ramakrishna mentioning another. There is a sadhu, a monk came, and one person came to Dakshinesha and he said to Sri Ramakrishna, one monk has come over there. Do you like to come along with me? I am going to visit him. We can go and see him. Sri Ramakrishna, he was willing to go. The moment he will be hearing someone taking the name of God, or he is a devotee or a sannyasi or a holy person, he was very much interested to go and see. Then he come to Halodhari, who was there, constantly used to be there, and he was a Pandit. Pandit means those who are constantly reading the scripture, and the master of the scripture, they can explain the scripture, they can recite from the scripture. So that is the Pandit, the very learned person in that spiritual training. Halodhari, when he said, Halodhari, do you like to come along with us? We are going to visit that one sannyasi has come, monk has come. Then Halodhari replied, what is the use of seeing a mere human body, which is no better than a cage of clay? Halodhari was telling, because he reads Vedanta. And he thinks that all the human body is nothing but this clay. Afterwards, when it is burnt, it becomes ashes. So he was mentioning about that. Sri Ramakrishna said this to that Krishna Kishore. He said, you know, Halodhari was telling like this. Sri Ramakrishna used to pretend that he don't understand anything. He is an illiterate person. So he used to give lot of respect to those who have already studied the scripture. The Krishna Kishore is a man who has studied the scripture, Halodhari. So when the Halodhari commented like this, Sri Ramakrishna wanted to know the opinion of the Krishna Kishore. With great anger he said, how impudent of Halodhari to make such a remark. How can he ridicule as a cage of clay the body of a man who constantly thinks of God, who meditates on Rama and has renounced all for the sake of the Lord? Does he know that such a man is the embodiment of spirit? This is the real introduction for a monk. Halodhari's words. But the most of the people, they want to know, please send me your resume. What resume I'll send you? And then they like to read that I was in Andaman, I was in Arunachal, I have done this. So that is, but they will never think that 40 years I am in this organization. One lady came and she was telling, Swamiji, the first thing you are, I was very happy that she came and she was talking about the basement. I was hoping that she will, after talking all these things, he will say that I am going to donate to you something because I need some money. So I was patiently going on hearing, but the ultimate thing he said, you are all unnecessarily inviting trouble. By developing all these things and activity, people will come, they will create problem, all this. I told what to do, something or to do. If I am not doing, you are complaining. If I am doing, you are complaining, then where I will go? So then ultimately he said, you develop your spirituality. I told I will try. I am trying very humbly. Really, I am really trying. I am not that spiritual person, but I am trying. Then I told, can I tell you something? Only one sentence. I am in this organization for last 40 years. But I never wanted to tell it, but just to stop her. Anyway, I could not stop. So this is the way people always think. They see the outside, the different approaches. So that you have to understand. Constantly thinking of Sri Ramakrishna, and Sri Ramakrishna is asking us to go. Through Swami Vivekananda, he is asking, go and serve the poor, the downtrodden, the illiterate. Help each and every person wherever they are as God, and you are free. This is the new way of salvation. This is a new way of salvation. Only, I think today I was reading in the Chicago Tribune, a group of people who never go to church, who never believe in God. They are not atheists, at the same time not believers. They have assembled in Chicago. And it's a big congregation they had. And then they have decided to develop the soup kitchen to help people. That is the only in America in the way you can help people in a soup kitchen and all these things. So they are trying to do this. But why? Out of compassion. Oh, see that poor man, I have given him food. Oh, see that poor lady, I have given her some clothing. Compassion. Wrong. Who are you to show compassion? That is the question that you have to ask. Who am I to show the compassion? It's good that you are going and helping, but do you know why you are doing it? Most of the time to keep yourself engaged. Go and stand before a mirror and ask yourself. You need not to answer to the society. Alone you ask yourself and tell the truth to yourself. Why I am doing this? And get the proper answer. See why you are doing. There is no philosophy at the back. And that's why when we are reading that chapter, the conversation between Sri Ramakrishna and that very learned person, Vidyasagar, Sri Ramakrishna was telling the same thing. He is having a very soft heart, very wonderful mind, but only thing he do not know what is hidden behind this. The moment he will know, he will realize God. So that is the way. Not that constantly sitting over here and you can realize God. She was telling that when people come and see that you are sitting over here, they will be inspired. I told different type of people at different time coming. Shall I be here all through the day and night? Right from morning 6 o'clock people are coming up to the night 9 o'clock. How can I sit over here all through? But anyway, I can try for some time. And to impress people, shall I sit over here? That is also another question. So this is the very practical thing that we have to know. Here, Haladhari, he is giving an idea, oh, this is nothing. But another one, Krishna Kishore, with great anger he said, how impudent of Haladhari to make such a remark. And not only that, he is telling, doesn't he know that such a man is the embodiment of spirit? He was so upset by Haladhari's remarks that he would turn his face away from him whenever he met him in the temple garden and stopped speaking to him. That the moment you are having a different ideology, I don't like to be contaminated with that ideology. So he was keeping himself away. That is exactly what Sri Ramakrishna said again and again. Those who are having only selfishness and they only know that how to earn money and name and fame and live a so-called high society life, be away from them. Away from that type of samsaris. Sometimes people will misunderstand. No, he is samsari, the word he is using for those people who are selfish. They will take the help of so many people and then they will simply forget. We see in the movies and so many places that is depicted. This type of people we have to shun, we have to go away, because their thought will unnecessarily disturb us. Once Krishna Kishore asked me, why have you cast up the cigarette trade? Again, in another the Krishna Kishore is having so much of faith, the same Krishna Kishore is also having some of the ignorance about the true knowledge. Because traditionally Brahmin should have the sacred thread, Yajna Upavita. So that sacred thread Sri Ramakrishna is to put off while meditating. Krishna Kishore came to know about it. Krishna Kishore used to love Sri Ramakrishna very much. And look the answer Sri Ramakrishna is giving. And he is telling, in those days of God vision, I felt as if I were passing through the great storm of Ashin. He is mentioning about the storm of Ashin. There is a note refer to the great cyclone of 1864. In Bengal, they swept everything. So that was 1864, that Ashwin. So he mentioned like that. And everything had blown away from me. No trace of my old self was left. I lost all consciousness of the world. I could hardly keep my cloth on my body, not to speak of the sacred thread. I said to Krishna Kishore, you will understand if you ever happen to be as intoxicated with God as I was. So if you are intoxicated, if you are constantly only dreaming and talking and thinking and meditating and living each and every moment with God, then you won't never care about your caste, creed, language, nothing. So that is the teaching of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. And then he said, and it actually came to pass. It is the blessings of Sri Ramakrishna that Krishna Kishore also got that state of mind. This is very, very rare. So Sri Ramakrishna is telling, so many people will be crying for so many things. But ask any one of them to cry for God, you won't get anyone. No one cries for the God, but they are crying for all these worldly things. These won't be. After some time, it is going to pass, but still we are so much attached to it. But the Krishna Kishore, by the blessings of Sri Ramakrishna, he got this experience. He too passed through the God intoxicated state, when he would repeat only the word Om, and shut himself up alone in his room. His relatives thought he was actually mad and called a physician, Ram Kaviraj. And Ram Kaviraj was very famous. He came to check up Krishna Kishore. Krishna Kishore was fully conscious. He knew that nothing has happened. Only thing he cannot think of anything except the Omkara, the Brahman, all around. And then he said to the doctor, cure me, sir, of my malady, but if you please, cure me, but not of my Om. But don't take away my Om. I like to repeat the Om. So that was the consciousness. He was making a fun with the doctor. What you are going to cure? But whatever you are trying, my relatives, they have brought you, okay, you try, but don't take away my Om. Unless and until one is having that love for God, it is difficult for other people to understand Him. So this is through the experience only one can have. So up to this, and then we will read Sri Ramakrishna's words slowly. From today, our Arati will be at 7 o'clock, and it will be for 6 months. Again, in the winter approaches, we will be at 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock and 7 o'clock, like this. So let us repeat this mantra. Niranjanam nityam anantarupam bhaktanukampa dhrita vigraham vai ईशावतारं परमेशमिड्यं तं रामकृष्णं शिरसा नमामः। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम तत्सत्। श्री रामकृष्ण अर्पणमस्तु।